Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayet Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityaṁ Bhāgavata-sevayā Bhagavati Uttama-shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Aradhyo Bhagavan Rajeshatanaya Stadhama Vrindavanam Ramya Kachitapasana Vrajavadhu Vargena Vakalpita Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Pramanamamalam Prema Pumartho Mahan Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu Matamidam Tatradharana Paraha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, dear Vaishnavas, thank you so much for joining. We are reading Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Canto 10, Chapter 33, entitled The Rasa Dance. We started this chapter yesterday, and we summarized chapter 32, which was the reunion, and we started the first 3 verses in the last call, which was yesterday. I want to share a verse from beautiful bhajan. Shri Rasa Mandala Jaya, Jaya Radha Sham, Jaya Jaya Rasa Leela Sarva Manoram. All glories to the place where the Rasa dance of Shri Krishna was performed. All glories to Shri Radha Sham, and all glories to the divine Rasa dance, which is the most beautiful of Lord Krishna's pastimes. So this is the most beautiful of Lord Krishna's pastime, and we must appreciate, respect, and honor it in that way. Otherwise, if we treat it like an ordinary affair, it will only do harm. But if we treat it in a divine spiritual understanding, it will remove all the lust and all the vices from us. And here are some pictures which we were also talking about yesterday, that all the celestial beings were also there in their plane. So we have read all this, and we are going to move to text number 4 now. Tato dundubhayo nedur nippetu pushpa vrishtayaha jagur gandharva patayaha sastrikas tad yashomalam. Translation and purport by the disciples of His Divine Grace in Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Kettle drums then resounded in the sky, while flowers rained down, and the chief Gandharvas and their wives sang Lord Krishna's spotless glories. Purport: as stated here, Lord Krishna's glories in dancing the Rasa dance is pure spiritual bliss. The demigods in heaven, in charge of maintaining propriety in the universe, ecstatically accepted the Rasa dance as the ultimate religious affair, completely different from the perverted reflection of romance we find in this mundane world. Hare Krishna. So demigods are also there, the Gandharvas are there. They also have come and they are not interested in the cheap boy and girl affair, but they are interested in the transcendental pastimes to glorify the Lord. So the kettle drums are resounding in the sky, they're showering flowers. So Pushpa Varsha, as we read here, which again and again shows that it is not an ordinary thing, it is pure transcendental love. And the reflection, which is as per the Bhagavad Gita chapter 15, this world is a reflection of the spiritual world. The love which is pure in pure state in the spiritual world, it transforms into lust in the material world. And therefore, we see so many challenges and so many difficulties and so much suffering because of this lust in this world. So we will move on to the next verse. Anyone would like to read? This is text 5.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I can read.
Yes, ma'am.
Valyanam nupuranam kinkinam cha yoshitam sapriyanam abhuchabdas tumulo rasa mandale. Translation by the disciples of Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. A tumultuous sound arose from the armlets, ankle bells, and waist bells of the gopis as they sported with their beloved Kṛṣṇa in the circle of the Rasa dance. Hare Krishna. So here there further description of the Rasa dance is given, where while dancing, the different jewels or jewelry that they're wearing, the armlets and the anklets and the sound, because there are so many of them dancing, so the sound was like tumultuous. Please add, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Or correct.
Thank you, Mataji. So the Gandharvas were playing what were they playing in the previous verse we read? Kettle drums, dundubi. And now here we see what is being played. The sound of the armlets, ankle bells, waist bells, etc. As we recall, even in the Damodar Leela, Mother Yashoda's, as she was churning the butter, the ankle bells, the armlets, etc., the nupura, they were all making a sound, shabda, right? Shabda. Shabda here basically means sound, tumultuous sound, tumulaha. And they were with the Kṛṣṇa, Sapriyanam. So these musical instruments, various types of drums were played. However, indicating them only by a cha means that they were not the principal instruments and not covered the sound of the gopis, bangles, and other ornaments. This is interesting thing here, that the other instrument which apparently the kettle drum sound, like imagine the sound of a big drum versus the sound of an ankle bell or armlet. These, by mundane calculation, we may feel that, oh, that sound is much less, right, compared to kettle drum. But Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur is mentioning that those instruments were not the key instrument. These were the key instrument. There was a tumultuous sound, right? And the sound of the kettle drums didn't cover the sound of these armlets, waist belts, etc. Interesting point here. Which also reminds me of something in the Kirtan, like the GBC is emphasizing this. There are books on Kirtan standard, etc. When we are in the Kirtan, we should put emphasis that the sound of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra should be the main sound, main Shabda. It should not be that the sound of the Kartal is so high or Mridanga is so high. And what is the speaker or the devotee leading the Kirtan doing? What are they speaking that's hardly audible? Or as Gosamrita Prabhu, when he came to Fort Lauderdale, he was mentioning sometimes devotees are dancing in such a ecstatic or little bit crazy manner that they may forget what are we dancing on, and we may forget even singing. Prabhupada said chant and dance, but we may forget the chant part and get in the mode of passion and just dance, and forget, oh, we are supposed to chant and dance in harmony, and it should be beautiful, it should be gentle, it should be sattvic. And the sound of the kirtan should always be the foremost, not covered by any other sounds of instruments. The instruments are there to aid the kirtan. It's not a performance. One devotee recently came to me and said, Prabhuji, please bless me. Now I have also started to perform in the kirtan. I said, Hare Krishna, because I was not the person to be giving any feedback. She came in a very joyful mood. I said, Hare Krishna, Mataji. But it's not a performance. Kirtan is not a performance. Kirtan is a call, a sincere call to Krishna. If we do it as a performance, yes, we may get some nice comments. Oh, wonderful harmonia, wonderful mridanga, wonderful. Wow, your voice is like a cuckoo or whatever parrot. When you sing, you may get some. And the conditioned mind wants all that, right? What to do? But will it please Krishna? Probably not. Krishna is not looking for our instrument or our. Krishna is looking for our sincerity, our heart. So let's move on. Any thoughts or comments before we move on? The next verse. Okay, text 6. Anyone would like to read? Mataji, Nita Mataji, Shiva Mataji, to read?
I can read, Prabhuji.
Okay, please.
Hare Krishna. Tatrati shushubhe tavi bhagavan devaki sutta madhye marinam hemanam mahamarkato yatha. In the midst of the dancing gopis, Lord Krishna appeared most brilliant, like an exquisite sapphire in the midst of golden ornaments. Purport: Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur states that Devaki, besides being the name of Vasudeva's wife, is also a name of Mother Yashoda, as stated in the Adi Purana. Dve namani Nanda Bharya Yashoda Devakiticha. The wife of Nanda has two names, Yashoda and Devaki. Back to you, Prabhuji.
Thank you so much, Mataji, for reading this. So, okay, pop quiz. What's the name of Radharani connected to Rasa Leela? We learned yesterday. Anyone? You remember we discussed? Rasa Krida Karanam. She's the cause of Rasa Leela. So this verse is talking about how the analogy is given that Krishna was in the center like the emerald, like the special jewel, and all the others, the gopis, were surrounding that sapphire. So all the other ornaments are compared to the gopis. Devaki Sutaha. Now, who is Devaki here? Is it the wife of Nanda or is it the wife of Vasudeva?
Wife of Nanda.
Nice. Generally, when we talk about Devaki, we talk about Devaki and Vasudeva, right? But here, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur is mentioning that yes, of course, Vasudeva's wife is Devaki, but one of the other names of Yashoda is also Devaki. So here, Devaki Sutta refers to son of Devaki, and Krishna no doubt is the son of Devaki, the wife of Vasudeva, and also the wife of Devaki, who is the wife of Nanda. So in short, both the mothers, they had a name, Devaki. In the Bhagavad Gita also, this analogy comes. Sometimes it is mentioned that Krishna is like that flower and the devotees are like the bees surrounding. Krishna is like the diamond and the devotees like the ring, the gold ring. So a lot of analogies are given. So let's see what Krishna Chakravarti Thakur mentions. So Krishna was a member of which community? Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. Who knows the answer? Krishna was a member of which community?
Vaishya. Prabhuji? Yadav, Vaishya.
Yadavs.
So even, I think, yeah, that's what my understanding was also. But here it's mentioned, even though Krishna, the son of Devaki, a member of Kshatriya community, and even though he is Bhagavan, full in 6 opulences, he appeared especially beautiful in the midst of the lovely cowherd damsels of Vraja. Though Krishna's complexion resembles a blue sapphire, mentioned here as Markata, sapphire. He manifested. So, though Krishna's complexion resembles a blue sapphire, by mixing the golden bodies of the gopis, he manifested a splendid emerald Markatamani color. The word Maha is used to indicate that Krishna's beauty was extraordinary. Maha Markatamani, Maha Markatayata. So, has anyone seen the sapphire? Anyone has seen, or at least picture? Markata. It's kind of a special jewel.
Yes, Prabhuji, I've seen. It's a blue, dark blue, navy blue color, Prabhuji.
Nice. Very nice. So next time we see any diamond, any special jewel, or pearl, we can think of Krishna, right? So Mahamarkata. So Krishna's beauty basically is compared to sometimes jewels, sometimes special, these ratna, right? Sometimes lotus. In short, anything beautiful in this world, we should try to link it to Krishna. Right? And just think of that, oh, this is coming from Krishna. The most beautiful diamond, the most beautiful flower, the most beautiful person, the most beautiful house, or nature, ocean, trees, mountains, anything. It should help us to remind us of Krishna.
Yeah. प्रभु जी, मैं देखती हूँ तो मुझे कृष्णा की याद आती है। एक टीचर है मेरे साथ में, वो हमेशा सफायर का इयरिंग वगैरह पहनती है, तो मुझे ज्वेलरी देख के कृष्णा की याद आती है कि ये कृष्णा से रिलेटेड ये देखा है मैंने टेम्पल में या कहीं भी पहने हुए, और ब्लू कलर, तो वो मुझे रिमाइंड कराता है प्रभु जी।
In Bhagavad Gita, there's a beautiful shloka in this connection, which is coming to my mind. Bhagavad Gita 6.30. Anyone knows that? 6.30. Yo mam pashyati sarvatra sarvam cha mai pashyati tasyaham na pranashyami sa cha me na pranashyati. For one who sees me everywhere and sees everything in me. That's what Nita Mataji said. I'm never lost, nor is he ever lost to me. So, a devotee's vision is, even they see material things, they try to connect to Krishna or to spiritual. And a materialistic vision is, even if they see deity or anything spiritual, Mahaprasad, deity, Tulasi, holy tree, they'll think, oh, they bring it down. Oh, that's ordinary. These people are foolish, just worshipping some dull piece of metal, right? It's all about consciousness. A devotee knows the art to transform matter to spirit. And a non-devotee is expert in bringing even the spiritual things down to material. Therefore, asatsang tyag. We have to give up this association and focus on this association. And then we'll always remember Krishna and never forget Krishna. So Manjula is sharing. Thank you for bringing it up. Lord Krishna, he was from both the families, right? From Kshatriya family and the Vaishya family. both. In that connection, I think Kṛṣṇa Chakravarti Thakur is mentioning. Okay, let's move on to text 7. Who would like to read this? Anyone would like to try?
I can read, Prabhuji.
Please.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Dandavat pranam. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Pada nyasair bhuja vibhuti sa smrityair bhur vilashair bajnan madhyais chala kusa patai kundalair gandalolahai svidyan muktya kavar rasang rasanangratthakya Kṛṣṇo vadyo kayantyastam padita ivata mega chakre virijuha. Sorry, Prabhuji, too many mistakes. Yeah. Translation. As the gopis sang in praises of Krishna, their feet danced, their hands gestured, and their eyebrows moved with playful smiles. With their braids and belts tied tight, their waist bending, their faces perspiring, the garments on their breasts moving this way and that, their earrings swinging on their cheeks. Lord Krishna's young concert shone like streaks of lightning in a mass of clouds. Anyone? Should I continue, Prabhuji?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Sridhara Swami explains that according to the analogy of lightning flashing in clouds, the the perspiration on the lovely face of the gopis resembles drops of mist, and their singing resembled thunder. The word agrantayaha may also be read as agrantayaha, means loosen. This would indicate that although the gopis began the dance with their hairs tightening drawn, these gradually slackened and loosened. Srila Vishwanatha Chakravarti points out that the gopis were expert at exhibiting mudras, precise hand gestures that expresses feelings or convey messages associated with the theme of a performance. Thus, sometimes Krishna and gopis would artistically move their interlocked arms together, and sometimes they would separate arms and exhibit mudras to act out the meaning of the songs they were singing. The words padanya padanyasaihi indicates that gopis artistically and gracefully placed the steps of their dancing feet in an enchanting way. And the words sa smritair bhur vilasair indicates that romantic movements of their eyebrows smiling with love were most charming to behold. Thank you, Prabhuji. Shri Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much. Mahaprabhu, for reading this verse. So now the Rasa dance has begun. Where is it happening? On the banks of Yamuna River, on the full moon night. It happened on a few occasions, the Kartik in the springtime and um, in the fall time. It's one of the famous ones. Like the Kartik Rasa Yatra, and then the one comes in the spring. One happened at Vamsivata, another happened at the Chandra Sarovar. And of course, at other places also, Krishna's Leelas are unlimited. The places are unlimited. So this verse also reminds me of, again, the Damodar Leela also, that how in Mother Yashoda was also moving her body, right? The anklets and the bells were making noise. And as she was running after Krishna, her sari was also getting loose and her hairs were getting loose and the flowers were falling. And she was heavy, moving her waist, moving her body, perspiring, right? All the same emotions and the same expressions are shared, right? Just the rasa is different. Over there is the parental rasa to punish the child, and here there is the conjugal rasa. Both are extraordinary, both are transcendental, both are topmost. Their earrings swinging on their cheeks. Lasat kundalam gokule vrajamanam. Right? So Krishna's earrings moving back and forth. So all the same things we see here, is it not? This is the beauty of the Rasa dance. And this is the beauty of the great Shukdev Goswami, who is so elaborately explaining and narrating these pastimes as if one is present there. So whether it's Damodar Leela, whether it's Rasa Leela, whether it's any other Leela connected to Krishna or his devotees, he's describing in so much detail. He could have just said, well, they held each other's hand and they were dancing, right? Which was technically correct. But look at the amount of detail. Attention to detail is a symptom of love. The amount of detail Shukdev Goswami has mentioned. The face was perspiring, the waist was bending, their braids and bells tied, all that, the earrings moving, and giving poetic analogies, different analogies like the emerald, like the lightning strike, etc. Any other thoughts, comments? Okay, we can read one more verse. Anyone who has not read and would like to read? Text 8.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes, ma'am.
Uchchair nrutyamana rakta kantyo rati priyah Krishna bhimasha mudita yat kite nadam avrutam. Translation. Eager to enjoy conjugal love, their throats colored with various pigments, the gopis sang loudly and danced. They were overjoyed by Krishna's touch, and they sang songs that filled the entire universe. Purport. According to an authoritative book on music called Sangeeta Sara, तावन्त एव रागः सूर्यावत्यो जीवजातय तेषु षोडशसहस्री पुरा गोपीकृत वरा. There are as many musical ragas as there are spaces of life. Among these ragas are 16,000 principal ones, which were manifested by the gopis. Thus, the gopis created 16,000 different ragas or musical modes, and these have subsequently been disseminated throughout the world. The words Yat Gite Nayedam Avrutam also indicate that even today devotees throughout the world sing the praises of Krishna, following the examples of the gopis. Hare Krishna.
Wow. Isn't that amazing? People may think, oh, gopis are just some ordinary, silly village girls, right? But their knowledge, their devotion, their love, their understanding of the padanyasa, like in the previous verse we read, like different hand motions, and like the dancers who are very expert in like doing the hand motions. I don't know all that, but you know, so it's very artistic. It's very, and if done in the right consciousness, it's very devotional too. So hastanyasa, padanyasa, moving the feet in the right way, moving and ultimately Krishna is Nataraj. He's the originator of all the dances. These days we may be, there are some dances and this dance and that dance, but ultimately who's the source of all the dances? Krishna, who is very expert. The gopis are expert in those mudras, hand gestures, feet gestures, mudra, nyasa, padanyasa. And here in this verse, we are reading about the Sangeeta Sara. Shodasa Sahasri Puragopi Krita Vara. 16,000 principal ragas. We're not talking about all the ragas. Among many, amongst thousands and millions of ragas, 16,000 are principal ones, which were manifested by the gopis during the Rasa Leela. We may not know the name of 16 ones, right? Rag, Bhairav, Rag, so many there. Rag, I don't know 16 names, what to speak of 16,000 and what to speak of what they mean, right? I doubt anyone, um, would even like knowledge and all. I don't know if it's so easily accessible and if there is a person who would know 16,000 ragas. So gopis sang Krishna's glories. So which also shows one thing, that yes, if someone wants to glorify Krishna, there is no limit. One has full, one, yeah, one has full permission by the acharyas to learn, if they like something, as His Grace Chaitanya Prabhu was mentioning, that about competence and contentment. So gopis, their main service was to glorify Krishna, to dance with Krishna, sometimes to tease Krishna, different pastimes, to feed Krishna, of course. They were not doing big management and all that. So 16,000 different ragas or musical notes. So if anyone likes music, anyone wants to glorify Krishna, one should take blessings from the gopis. And in ISKCON, by the mercy of devotees, like recently, one devotee, Anjali, what's Prabhuji's name? Made 300 melodies 300 different melodies of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. There's a video recently came. 300 different ways he's singing Hare Krishna Mahamantra. What's Prabhu's name from GEV? I'm forgetting his name, but he's a very, very good singer. Sing beautifully, simple, humble devotee, and always absorbed in singing for Krishna. He's called Jai Sachinandan Prabhu. Very, very nice bhajans, very, very nice kirtans. So he glorified the holy name in different melodies, modes, 300 different. If anyone wants to hear, it's nice. And we can, similarly in ISKCON temples, Mangal Arati is sung in a different meter, Gaur Arati different, depending on the mood of the day. So we must also try to follow that, what our acharyas have given us. We don't have to invent new things. We just have to follow. Our parampara has everything. We have to follow sincerely and everything rest will come. Rakta Kantha is the word also is used, that their throats were tinged with the various ragas, Rakta Kantha. So one meaning is pigments, colored pigments. The other meaning is colorful ragas or variegated ragas. So two meanings here. They were dancing, they were honoring, they were respecting, and musical melodies are shared, 16,000 principal melodies. And the gopis were attached to the affectionate, Rati Priya, were attached to the affection shown by Krishna, becoming blissful from Krishna's touch, sparsha. They did not feel fatigue from dancing. We feel tired after dancing for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, half an hour. How long can we dance? 1 hour? Imagine someone dancing on fast kirtan for 1 hour. That's a lot to dance. I was hearing a class this morning. His Holiness Swayam Bhagwan Keshav Maharaj was mentioning. When he came to ISKCON, he said he was very, very impressed, mind boggled, by three things. Number one, or more specific, he said he was impressed by or like amazed by three aspects of devotees. Number one, how much they can eat prasad. Impressive. Oh my God. Right. Very, very impressed. Of course, in a lighter, joking mode. Number two, he said, how much they are so hard-working, morning to night. They're working hard for Krishna. And it's very, very impressive. Nowhere you'll find in the world, at least I have not seen, at 4 a.m. dancing like up and down like, wildly or beautifully, let's put it this way. Have you heard of this even before coming to Krishna consciousness? Was unheard, unseen. And I was recently at the temple. I want to 5 a.m. Devotees are chanting enthusiastically. God is doing the worship. Then the world happens. 5 a.m. in the morning. As well, the devotees will start Where do they get such energy from? Right? Isn't that amazing? What are most people doing at 5 a.m.? It's very hard to get out of the bed if we don't have a great purpose. I mean, I'm saying it for myself too. Over there, I'm just somehow pulled. Oh, the conch will blow. Whether you are there or not, the conch will blow at 5 or whatever the time of Mangalarti is. So that gives a purpose. I have to be there before the conch blows. Right? Like the bus is going to start. You better be on time. That's a great purpose. And it was so beautiful. It was such a nourishing time. At home, no. Familiarity breeds contempt. You may take things for granted. So we need such spiritual boost in our life. Yeah, so dancing. The gopis were getting the energy. How were the dancings? How were they singing for so long? If someone sings for 30 minutes, 1 hour, they get tired. Right? Even someone is dancing, but by the divine touch of the Lord, they did not feel fatigue. We see even in devotees, Krishna consciousness, devotees are chanting sometimes 24 hours kirtan, 4 or 5 hours sitting, chanting, absorbed. His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj just recently, he's 70 plus years old, sat on the Vyasasana in New York Temple at Bhakti Center and started glorifying Krishna, or Lord Ram to be more specific, on the day of Lord Ram Navami. Can you guess how long the class might be? I'll give you option. 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour, 4.5 hour. Pick one. How long the class might have gone? 1.5, 2.5, 3, sorry. 1, 2, 3, or 4.5. Pick one option. 1, 2, 3, 4. How long the class went? 4.5 hours. 4.5 hours. Can you imagine? Where in this world someone gets the energy to speak about Krishna and to hear about Krishna? It's only possible by Krishna's touch. By Krishna's touch, you'll not feel fatigued. By Krishna's touch, all over, He will empower us. He will give us the energy. He will give us the strength. And I've seen that, and experienced that also. That in ordinary ways, we may feel tired for doing our, selfish things, work, etc. But when we are serving Krishna, somehow He gives the energy. And I'm sure all of you must have experienced at some point or the other. He gives the energy. Dharmi, Buddhi Yoga. He gives them intelligence. He gives the knowledge. He gives the strength. He's the source of everything. He will give us the words. He will give us the strength if we stay connected to Him. How will we stay connected? Through prayers, through chanting, through reading, through hearing the Bhagavatam, through devotees, etc. We'll stay connected. Is Krishna consciousness on? So stay on in Krishna consciousness and He will give the right things. And we'll not feel fatigued also. Manjulali is mentioning, yes, that's so true. Some devotees doing Pujari service have to get up at 2. And some devotees, I've heard that before they wake up the deities, they chant their 16 rounds. So waking up deity, like when the curtain opens at Mangalarti at let's say 4:30 or 5, a lot of things happen behind the scene, like the waking up of the deities, offering them Mangalarti Bhoga, Mangalarti sweets, different types of sweets are offered. There are a lot of mantras, tantras, pujas, upcharas are done behind the scene curtain. When the curtain is closed, that's called puja or archana. So at least 30 minutes before, if not more. If the curtain has to open at 5, the pujari will enter at least at 4:30. And if that means entering at 4:30, that means they have to get up at least 30 to 45 minutes before to make sure everything is ready, make plates and all. It's a lot of process. And there is no weekend. His Holiness Haladhar Swami Maharaj came and someone asked a question. Well, Maharaj, we have a lot of responsibility as father, mother. Maharaj said, will your child complain if you give him lunch at 1:30 instead of 1:15 or 1:45? Or someday we'll say, well, you just eat the leftovers from the afternoon. Will they say anything? They'll eat, right? Most of us, I guess, do it anyways. Or sometimes even the next day, oh, rice dal left from the previous day or paratha left from previous day, just take it on the lunch and we'll see later. For deities, sharp on time, right? Sharp on time and not just some basic thing. Every time, like 6 times food is offered to Kṛṣṇa, and every time it's so opulent. You saw some prasadam the devotees get, and they offered me with so much love. Rasgulla, cakes, pastries, burfis, samosas, pakoras, salad. Like every time there's at least like 6 items, if not more. In the midday bhoga, which is called the Raj Bhoga also, it's even more. Let me show you a Raj Bhoga plate. My mother goes sometimes for Raj Bhoga service to assist in kitchen. This is how the Raj Bhoga plate looks like. This is from ISKCON Faridabad temple. Now, which father and mother in the world will give their child this? Maybe one day in the year, right? Or maybe 1 or 2 days, right? But no one can even imagine this. And that too every day and specific, like fixed time. Like 12 baje to the 12 baje hi hoga. 12:05 pe bhi nahi. So what he was telling that the devotees have 1,000,000 times more responsibility. Why? Because they're doing it for Kṛṣṇa. I like that point. Okay, let's take 1 or 2 last thoughts or questions or comments and then we'll pause.
Hare
Any-
Krishna. Ji.
Yes, Mataji.
Prabhuji, the Rasa dance form that was mentioned, is it Kathak that came from the Rasa dance? Do you know? Like, from what I have heard or known, the Kathak dance form has originated from the Rasa dance. And like, they were talking about those anklets and the bells, the waist bells, and those making noise, the sounds, even the footwork, like, when they dance in Kathak, there's so much of footwork. Even that kind of gives rise to a lot of like the sounds that come from there. So I was just thinking about it. And they enact a lot of pastimes also in that dance. Like they were talking about expressions, the abhinay, So in Kathak, they enact a lot of like stories and all that on Krishna.
Could be, Mataji, I don't know. Could be. Ultimately, we know this for sure. Whether it's any sport, any dance, skydiving. These is people like skydiving. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam took him up, Krishna skydive, right? Or they go tie themselves to a boat and then they do surfing and all. Krishna was doing it holding cow's tail. So any sport, wrestling, swimming, any sport, baseball, cricket, actually everything is coming from Krishna. Let's call it any dance. Now, unfortunately, as with time, it may get perverted, right? Like Kathak and Kuchipudi and etc. Ultimately, any dance ultimately coming from the Supreme Lord in some shape or form. Any raga, any melody coming from Krishna. So in one way that's correct. I don't know, I'm not specifically heard that about this. Yeah. Thank you, Mata. Any last other thoughts or comments? Grantaraj Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Purana ki jai, Jagat Guru Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai, Samavita Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki jai, Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripasindubhya Vacha, Ditanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namaः. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.